In today's video, we are talking about lies that you were told to scare you, to scam you, to drag you on, and to stop you from disputing. You see, the truth is that nobody needs reassurance right now. What they need is someone to be real, and that's exactly what this is. You see, I was just talking about these 4 things specifically on my live podcast. Now, if you have not subscribed yet, it's totally free. You can go check that out at Capiche, capiche.fm/ask-Kristen. And I am going to put the link in the description as well as on the screen so that you can go check that out. And so anyways, we were talking about that, and while it is late, it is currently 1:28 in the AM. There were a couple of things I definitely wanted to get off my chest because I've had many people ask about these specific things, and I've also seen some of these directly told to consumers, straight up lies in videos this week that were shared with me. So this is definitely something that is bothering me and that I want to make sure that you know the truth about, okay? Because again, you don't need someone to reassure you and tell you everything's going to be okay and this is quick and that it's blah, blah, blah. No, you need someone to tell you exactly how it is, not the crap that you want to hear, but exactly what you need to hear, all right? So scare you, scam you, drag you on, and stop you. And these are kind of a little bit all over, but we're going to go through them quickly, all right? Now, here's one that was in a video. Paying collection re-ages the account, add 7 years. No, contrary to popular belief, paying a collection does not add an additional 7 years. Now, if we're talking about a charge-off, yes, paying on anything that is negative, that is not a collection, is going to re-age that and add additional timing, right? The second thing is paying collections will drop your score. No, it doesn't automatically mean that. And this can go for any account, right? Paying on a charge-off can actually increase your credit score if it meets certain qualifications, and this actually goes for a collection as well, right? It doesn't automatically mean just because the account is negative and just because you pay it, that is going to drop your score. Now, there are certain things you need to look at, such as the age of the debt or the age since it's been derogatory. Are you going to change scorecards once you pay on it? How are your averages going to change in your numbers and stuff? So those are the things that you want to look at. Let's just look at a charge off. If it's older than 24 months, then you might want to reconsider paying after it's been removed from your credit report, because you actually don't have to pay to get it removed, right? And they're also not going to remove it if you pay it unless you have a prior agreement with them, and they're not going to do that anyways. Only 2% of companies do that, okay? So when someone is telling you that your score is going to go down just because you pay on something, that is a blatant lie, and it's to scare you so that you use their process, because obviously if they know things like this, it means that they have to know how to get results, right? Wrong. They have no idea what they're talking about, and they are straight up freaking lying, okay? Here's another one. You don't have to pay a disputed account or a deleted account. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. If you did not pay the account, you still owe that money. You owe that money until number 1, it is paid, or number 2, you are issued a 1099-C, okay? Those are the 2 stipulations that would remove your legal obligation to pay, all right? Anything outside of that is nothing but shizzle. All right, next one. You can remove collections using the reason, I have no contract with you. Now, on my live podcast, I kind of went on like a little tangent with this one and explained where the article came from and all that kind of stuff, but I'm going to keep it short here. So I don't know if it was 1 year or 2 years ago, an article went viral basically stating that you can remove collections from your credit report very simply stating, I have no contract with this collector, and it would just come off like butter, smooth like butter. That is totally not true. You are not going to have a contract with that collector, okay? If it were like that, there wouldn't be a debt collection industry, all right? It is not simple like that. It does not work like that, and you are not going to get anything removed very simply stating, I have no contract with this collector. All right. Your contract was with, or your terms and conditions agreement, whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to call it. It was with whoever you got the original credit or money or services or whatever with. Their contract, their relationship is with a collection agency or a debt buyer. All right. And you did agree for that debt buyer or that collector to come after you in the event that you did not pay when you signed up for services or money or, credit or whatever it is that you got with that original creditor. Okay. If you go back and you look at the terms and conditions or, the whatever policy you had or, your contract, it's going to be in there and it's very, very clear. It basically states in the event that this service, credit, money is not paid for, paid back, paid against, whatever, satisfied, I agree for my information and my file to be sent over to collection agency ABC or a collector of the servicer's choice. And that's basically how it works. So there's your agreement to, have a collector come after you. So that is how that works. You are not going to have a contract with that collector. All right. And if you want to know what article I'm talking about, it was very, very popular. Like I said, it went viral. I think you can just do a very simple Google search on it and you will find it. But they were basically stating that that's the reason that you use, you get it off and that's it. And it was totally busted down and basically myth busted. I can't remember by who, but or by whom, but it was pretty precise. It was pretty awesome. And then I shared it on Facebook, so it's buried somewhere on my Facebook page. Anyways, all right, so we're going into a different section now. In this one, if you are with a credit repair company, you definitely want to pay attention to this one because this is the drag you along section. All right. So if you hear these from the company that you are with, you need to say bye-bye, like right now. You need to cancel with the company that you're with. All right. So is this what they tell you? We can only dispute a few accounts at the same time. And the reason that we can only dispute a couple items at the same time is very simply because it's going to come back as frivolous. You don't want this to come back as frivolous, right? Dude, that's a lie. That is the biggest bull honky I have ever heard before. Okay. Just so you know, I've been doing this for a while, all right? Way longer than I've been on YouTube. And I've been on YouTube since the middle of 2016. So here's the deal. For every single client that I have ever had, going back to the beginning of time, I have disputed 100% of their accounts at the same time. If they had 2, I disputed 2. If they had 10, I disputed 10 on, every letter, not 10 consistently, because obviously that would mean there would be no results. I'm just saying, however many negative items that they had, regardless of whether it was 2 or 200, I disputed all at the same time, every single time I sent out a letter. Okay. Not once did it ever come back as frivolous. Likewise, the next one is we only dispute one bureau at a time. And that's because it's going to come back as frivolous. That one is also major bull honky because guess what? Going along with me disputing 100% of the accounts at the same time, I also always dispute all 3 bureaus at the same time. You see, I'm not going to mention a company's name, but I will say one of the biggest companies only dispute 9 items per month per bureau and 1 bureau at a time. And they don't even dispute monthly. They put about 60 to 90 days between disputes because you also have to send them copies of the credit reports that come in the mail, if they come in the mail, as well as any documentation from creditors, bureaus, collectors, courts, right? If they don't have it, they cannot dispute. And once you give it to them, there's an additional 2 weeks or so for them to reanalyze, compare, check for new information, and then write their new disputes. You see, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't take that long. Okay. All of these things are meant to drag you along. Okay. So yeah, if you are hearing any of that, well, first of all, if you're not asking the right questions. Okay. Cause that's how they all operate. But anyways, here's the biggest one. But, yeah, if you're hearing any of this stuff, you need to, quit and split. All right. Unfortunately, our process is proprietary and we cannot give you dispute letter copies, or this is confidential information and we cannot share it with you, or we just, it's our policy not to give you copies of the disputes. I mean, because obviously you're dealing with the NSA, right? Or, whatever. Like, no, dude. There's nothing proprietary. There's nothing confidential. There's nothing, secret about it. They're sending out templates and they don't want you to know that they're not doing anything that you couldn't easily do yourself within like 30 seconds using copy and paste and print. All right. So if a company is not showing you the disputes that they're sending out on your behalf, they're not doing anything. And if they are doing something, it is not worth doing or not worth knowing about. Okay? So now I was going to say, as I had said in my live podcast, that there's literally nothing that I can think of where you pay for it and you don't get to see what you paid for. But someone actually mentioned life insurance. Now, initially I agreed with them because I used to actually be in the life insurance industry like 1,000 years ago with National Life Income, whatever it was. But when you get a life insurance policy, you have documentation that's, shows the amount that you're paying, whatever your coverage is and your plan and all of that. So even with life insurance, you still have documentation that proves, that this is this and that is that, and it's going to end and expire on X date. And in the event of, so-and-so's coverage death, the beneficiary is blah, blah, blah. Because I used to fill out all that paperwork. I know. And you get a copy of it because I used to give them the copies of it in this nice little booklet, and they'd walk out the door and they'd feel all like all grown up and stuff, So yeah, okay, life insurance also, you get copies of what you're, what you paid for. Okay, so again, nothing I can think of off the top of my head, even after, thinking about it for a while, that you pay for and don't get to see. You go to Walmart, you buy stuff, or Safeway or Costco or Sam's or wherever, fill in the blank. You pay for something, you walk out and you have the thing you paid for and the receipt, right? And then obviously your bank account or your wallet is negative however much you paid for. That's how things work, okay? So why is this any different? And why are you allowing yourself to fall victim to this? I have always, not only disputed everything around with everybody using absolutely no templates, but always gave copies of the disputes because it's your personal information, okay? It's your confidential information. Why wouldn't you have copies of this? So anywho, if you're with a company and they're not giving you copies of the disputes, then cancel with them. They're not doing anything for you, okay? Or if they are, it's probably illegal and you might have the cops knock on your door. And even if it's not the cops knocking on your door, you're probably going to get in trouble anyways and have, fraud alerts that you didn't know about added to your credit report because the company's using, identity theft and police reports and affidavits. Anyways, so now let's talk about the stop you from disputing. And this is the last section, right? So before we get into that part, if you want to learn how to do this the right way and not have to worry about any of this, and you want to know how to do factual disputes, go down, check out the links in the description to get access to free do-it-yourself credit repair and credit sweep resources in the subscriber hub at vargasrevolution.vipmembervault.com. Just go check out the description. Now, if this is something that you don't want to do yourself, maybe you're reconsidering because it's not easy, then you can use the link to schedule a one-on-one call with me and I will see if I can help you. All right. So let's go to this last part. Now, the bureaus have the job, and this is totally misconstrued all the time, of getting you to stop disputing, right? They want to make it as cheap and as quick as possible. All right. Having said that, these are some of the things that will happen to get you to stop disputing. Experian is going to tell you that unless you have additional documentation from the creditor or the court, they're not going to reinvestigate without new and relevant information. And if you go back through my videos, I tell you that new and relevant information is a new factual-based dispute. That is how you resolve that. All right. So these are stall tactics to get you to stop and to hinder the process. And this can even go into scaring you. All right, next one. We do not understand the nature of your dispute because our computer is stupid, or the person who is doing the investigation is stupid. No, I don't buy that. Unless you're sending a letter that looks like that really long jumbled letter straight out of Scott and Allison's book that purposely doesn't mean anything and is like totally illegible, at least in the English language, then that's a stall tactic. All right, so you want to make sure that your letter can be read, because our job is not to fool the OCR, because that's the stupidest thing that you could do. And I'm not calling you stupid, I'm talking about the process is stupid in attempting to fool the system when you can just beat the system using the right method. Then, make sure it can be read, make sure that it can be understood, make sure it is, typed or in black or blue ink. Don't use purple, don't use staples, don't do any of that stuff. Beat the system, don't try to fool it, all right? Now, you should not be getting that if you did do everything that you were supposed to, all right? If you did do what you're supposed to and they still send you saying something, they don't understand the nature of your dispute, which normally comes from TransUnion, then just understand that that is a stall tactic, right? What you would do is act like you never received that and send your next dispute. It's really that simple. That you didn't send in your identification, even though your letter ran right into it. Like your letter and your identification were like one letter. Right. But you received my letter and all of the accounts I'm disputing. But you didn't get my identification, right? Okay. I believe you. What you could do in that case is sometimes they give a fax number, but if they do, go ahead and fax your letter, the same exact thing you originally sent in, or you can ignore it and send in a new dispute as long as there's been at least 30 days between it so that they cannot use it as additional information to add 15 days. Right, and the last one is, and you know what, this is actually not the last one because I added one while I was doing my live podcast, so we have two more. We believe you're working with a credit repair company. And if you don't know why this one is a stall tactic, scare tactic, go check out Section 623. So Section 623 basically states that if a credit repair company prepares and mails out on your behalf, or even just prepares for you your disputes, then the creditor does not have to process or investigate your dispute. I mean, it sucks, right? Because they believe that credit repair companies can utilize the FCRA to circumvent some of the whatevers, all right? So first of all, how do they know that it came from a credit repair company? Because that credit repair company is not going to put credit repair company ABC on it. No. It has your name, your address, your date of birth, your social, your accounts, so on and so forth, right? So you really need to start thinking about, well, hey, I think that this is just a stall tactic, because otherwise a company would have to be super dumb to put their information on the dispute. And you know that they're not going to do that. Now, having said that, 623 doesn't state anything about the bureaus ignoring you. Doesn't say anything about that. It says creditor, the furnisher. Okay, so keep that in mind. If this does happen to you, write a very simple letter that says, I am not working with a credit repair company. These are my factual disputes. These are the inaccuracies, and I request respectfully an investigation, as is my due process. Okay? Now, the last one is when they basically state that you claimed something was fraudulent, even though you didn't use the word unknown or the phrase not mine or identity theft or anything like that, but they're still saying, hey, we added a fraud alert and we think that this is, blah, blah, blah. Or they're even claiming that not only is it identity theft, but that is also that they're not going to do anything about it because they believe that you received like goods in exchange for this identity theft, this fraud. Okay, that one's a little bit more tricky, but If you did not say any of those things and yet still receive that, my recommendation would not only to be sent in a dispute, but to actually make a CFPB complaint at that time. Normally, I say exhaust your remedies prior to going to, through that route. But with this specifically, I would have to say, yeah, complain. All right, guys, that was it as far as the lies you're being told to scare you, scam you, drag you on, and stop you. And, again, I'm not here to reassure you. I am here to keep it real with you so that you can actually spot these things and have these red flags shoot straight up out of your head every single time that you hear BS like this, all right? Because it's going to save you time, it's going to save you money, it's going to save you heartache, headaches, and yeah, all of that. We don't have time to waste. That's the one thing that we can't get back. You can get back your money, or you can make back your money. You can't get back your time, and you definitely can't fix irreparable damage done to your credit report. So keep these things in mind when you are either trying to hire a company, or you're disputing yourself, or just watching a video and, whatever. So have a great one. I will see you later. Like I said, go check out the links in the description. While you are there, make sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't done so, and hit that bell for notifications. I'll see you later. Have a great one, and please stay safe.